Hey friends, so I'm here with Garrett Greer, and we're gonna have a chat today, man. I'm gonna cook you some pasta, and I just want you to tell me a bit about yourself.
All right. First of all, I'm super stoked on this.
Yeah.
I haven't had somebody in here cooking something like this for me in a little bit, so thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man. Jeanette put us in touch. She's the plug. I like it.
Yeah, thank you, Jeanette. Vegan girl forever. This is cool, man. So about myself, though. I'm a professional poker player. Been doing it professionally for 6 years now.
Okay.
But I did it unprofessionally and put myself through college back in like 2003 to 2007 at UCLA. So
Okay.
ages ago. But then I tried to sort of steer away from that.
From the poker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back then even I tried to get away from it. And I was starting to pursue a career in film and television production.
Right.
And that's what I really wanted to do. I actually produced a short film when I was, what year was that? It was like 2009.
Yeah.
And I started working for this talent management company, helping them start their production side of the company in 2010. And in March 2010, I broke my neck. It's crazy. I had my first paid day at this job on March 26th, 2010.
Okay.
And I broke my neck March 27th, 2010.
Oh, man.
It was almost like it was just like never meant to be.
Yeah.
You know? So that sucked. Went to the hospital, you know, full thing. I drowned. I was in a coma.
How did that happen?
I'm 6'3" and the
Okay.
pool's 2.5 feet deep. And
oh, man. Yeah, the
you know,
logistics of that just don't work. do they?
right? You know, and I was 24, so on top of that, I'm an idiot as well.
Yep.
You know, so
I remember that.
you put all those things together, and you know,
Yeah.
you increase the likelihood for something like this to happen.
Yeah.
And that happened. So, anyways, that is just another notch on the belt type of thing. It's just another thing that happened to me in my life, and I see it now as it's nothing that hinders me anymore. I actually think I have a better life now than I did then. It's just something that you had to get through, you know?
Yeah.
Actually makes you stronger for the future anyways. So then I was living with my aunt and uncle after that. Once I got out of the hospital, I was living with my aunt and uncle. This was in June of 2010. And then I was with them up until December of 2010. They decided they were going to get divorced and they needed to split assets and...
Messy business, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I was starting to feel like everywhere I go, there was some black cloud stuff going on, you know? But anyways, they were saying that they needed to sell the house, so I needed to figure something out for myself.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't going to have anywhere to live, and there was talks of me going to an assisted living facility. And in my mind, I was like, that sounds like that's like there's no coming back from that kind of
that's
thing,
it.
you know?
And you're a super independent guy, and it's
Yeah.
just it's not for you. Yeah.
No, so I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. So I hopped on my my PokerStars account back in January of 2011, and just to see if there's anything I could do. I get on there and I literally only have 99 cents. Real story, I had 99
Yeah.
cents. I had something else called these like frequent player points
Okay.
that you can use for different things. You get a bunch of them together, that, like they might buy you a ticket into a tournament or something
Okay.
like that. So I used those frequent player points to play these little, they were called sit and goes, these little small 6-man tournaments. And if you got first or second place, you got $11 T money is what they called it. It was tournament money.
Right. Okay.
So I used up all my frequent player points, and I racked up about $160 T money. Now you can't cash this out, you can't use it.
You just keep using it in the game.
You have to play, you play
Okay.
tournaments with it. So that was January 15th of 2011 when I did that. And I had it until April. Well, I signed a lease April 9th of 2011 on my own one-bedroom apartment in Newport because by that point, I had turned that $160 T money into $50,000 real money. It was just like...
Serious playing, man.
Dude, I played so many hours too. But it was like, you know, it felt so good because it's one of those moments where I really have my back to the wall, you know? And
Game time.
Yeah,
Game time, that is. It's like do or die
This is
stuff,
fourth
man.
quarter, dude. Everybody's
Yeah.
tired, man, but we gotta do something. There was a lot of fortune on my side, but luckily I had some experience in the game, and I was able to make that happen. So yeah, then you know, with that experience on my belt, I thought that maybe I'd give this whole poker thing a real try, and over the course of the next, 7 years up until now. it's been a real progression, man. I continued to play online poker for a while. Poker Stars at the time ended up, it's so crazy too, because April 9th I moved out and I signed a lease, and I'd only gotten like 8,000 of the 50,000 out to be able to use.
Yeah.
But then on April 15th of 2011, the poker world calls it Black Friday. Every poker site that was running in America got shut down by the Department of Justice. Like,
what was that?
Because
like new legislation, or?
No, it's just because there hadn't been any legislation really. This is like,
so there was like a let us take stock and realize what we actually do with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's probably about to happen with cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's what was happening back then. You know, the American government wasn't getting their cut of the pie.
Yeah.
So they did what they could do to shut it down, and one day all of a sudden there was just a DOJ symbol just on every website, and every tournament stopped, and it was just done. So, and I was super nervous.
So what was going through your head then?
What was that?
What was going through your head then? Because it just become like the income for you.
It had just become my income, and I'd only gotten 8,000 of the 50,000 out. So
they froze that.
The other part was frozen, and I was sort of freaking out, you know.
Yeah.
Now because I'm out on my own, I'm in a wheelchair, I'm living alone. I can't just, you know. It only became illegal in America too, by the way. So if you had been playing in another country, you could keep playing, but just America, you couldn't do it. And I had friends that were leaving America to go play. They were setting up, but I'm in a wheelchair. It's like pretty impossible for me.
Well, you just set your roots as well. Like you just got your apartment. That's
exactly yeah. There was there was a lot of things happening, and I was also setting my roots in a lot of other ways, like learning how to live with this injury. Because like I had just learned how to like start feeding myself and getting myself out of bed and all that at the same time, you know. So traveling to another country was out of the question. So I was sort of in like for about 3 weeks there, I was in a waiting game, man. I was just like trying to figure out what I was gonna do. My funds were frozen. I had enough to get me by for a while. You know, I was just planning on living super cheap, doing whatever I could to make it last. But 3 weeks goes by, and thank God Poker Stars unfreezes the money. And this is like super fortunate because every other website did not unfreeze their money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were fortunate that's where you had your money.
Because there was Full Tilt and Ultimate Bet and all these other websites, and some of these have been scamming the people. Like they were taking money out of people's player banks and stuff, and they weren't actually holding the real funds that were supposed to be there. So when everybody needed to cash out all at once, the money wasn't there. It was like a Ponzi scheme type of thing where it was just vanished. They were just banking on more players having the money to be able to back up what they were doing.
That's crazy.
So out of all the websites, luckily I had almost all of my money on the correct one. So that was very fortunate in the history of Garrett Greer, by the way.
Yeah. That black cloud wasn't there that day. That's good, man. Yeah.
That black cloud had vanished. Then at that point, I didn't really trust poker sites anymore.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to try to do something where I was going to get stuck in that situation again. So the next time I found a website that I could play on, I only put like $100 in there. That's all I trusted on there.
Yeah.
I just kept all my other money. I was like, if I need to, I'll just go do whatever I can with this money. 50,000 was going to last me a good amount of time, you know. I could figure out a career from there, you know. Because in college I was planning on going to law school, and I took the LSAT and I did well. I got 88th percentile, so I was thinking again, maybe I'll go back to law school. That's something I could do. I can be an attorney in a wheelchair. That's not impossible. And then I'd already have like a type of I guess laid out segmentation of law. Like I could represent disabled, with having the experience that I did.
Yeah.
So that was sort of going through my head, but I had found this other site and I put $100 on there, and everybody was really bad at poker on there, and I just started making so much money again on this website. 10 months later, I had made over $100,000 on this website from $100.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's just seeming like the poker gods are screaming at me that this is what I'm supposed to do. So I started playing live poker in 2012 and 2013. And in 2013, the very first $10,000 buy-in tournament, I took a shot and tried playing. I ended up getting 7th in and winning like $160,000. And then from there, the tournaments got bigger, the wins got bigger. They just kept getting bigger and bigger until the end of 2014. I had my largest score ever, and I won over $1 million in poker. And it was just unreal,
crazy.
surreal, just crazy life experience.
What was that moment like for you? Like, I just want to get into your head at that time because, like, how'd you process that? How'd you win that money and then walk away and go, oh yeah, that's changed things. Like, what I'm going to do now?
Well, so there's, in a poker tournament, there's steps along the way. The prizes get bigger and bigger as people get knocked out. So at each moment, I'm having one of those realizations like, dude, I just hit 100,000 again. And then it was like, oh my God, I'm guaranteed $250,000. Like at each moment, like, so there's footage of me on that table where like, even with like 4 players left, I'm just like, something will happen. I'll win a hand and knock somebody out. And I'll just like, my head will just go onto the table. And I'm just like thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is happening.
Because that's when it's guaranteed money.
Yeah, and plus I'm winning the chips at that moment. It's like, so I had multiple of those moments. And then finally, when it happened, so I didn't win the tournament. I got technically at second place, but we split it, me and the first guy. So we got the same amount of money. And once it happened and it was all said and done, we made the deal to chop it. It was, I guess it's what, because one of my goals was to do that, to get to that position in a tournament. One of my goals was to win $1 million in a poker tournament. You have these goals and you have these crazy dreams you set for yourself, and they seem crazy until that moment. And when that happens, I don't really know how to explain it. There's just so many different emotions that you just get blasted by.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hard work that goes into these types of things, and then also just to be so fortunate to find yourself in that situation. And I had so many of my loved ones on the rail behind me. I don't have a big family.
Oh, they were there, like, supporting you.
Yeah. So I had my girlfriend at the time there. I had probably 25 friends there. My dad was there. And so, constantly being loved and supported by them at the same time, it was just, it'll definitely go down as one of the best nights of my life for sure. And it just seems so perfect. So I'm sorry I can't put it into perfect words.
No, man, it's an overwhelming. I'm sure it's an overwhelming moment. So
yeah,
I get that. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's like the closest I could say to pure joy.
Yeah.
And it's not just because like money, right? I mean, money's money, and that's great, and that's part of the goal. But just the experience of being there, of accomplishing a long time dream of yours, and fighting back from the depths that I had been in, all of this like overcoming experience within myself. And it also sort of played into it that like there wasn't much that could hold me down anymore, like going through breaking your neck and being paralyzed in a wheelchair and then coming back and then being stronger than I'd ever been. It was like, it just sort of proved to me like how strong the human can be, like how strong the human body, the human mind, and human love can be. There's just so much we are capable of, even when we think we aren't.
Yeah. With everything, the way you've described everything, it just sounds like as long as you're willing to fight, still in the game.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to still do it, then there's a way, and that's awesome, man. You told me a bit about the top you're wearing earlier.
Okay, yeah. So
can you talk me through that?
Of course, yeah. So let's see here. Maybe make sure they can see this. This is a design that I created. That when I first got hurt, I didn't have any money, and my family didn't have much money. And one day I was just sitting out in a parking lot while my aunt was inside shopping, and we were parked at the handicap spot, and I was looking up at the silhouette, the little white silhouette, the handicap sign, and I was looking at it, and I was like thinking about it and thinking about how negative it made me feel and everything, and I was
the representation of that sign.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was just thinking like, God, it just makes me feel bad about myself, and I wanted to do something that would make me look at that and have like a sense of pride in it.
Yeah.
And at the time, my goal was to try to walk again, or just try to rehabilitate as much as I possibly could. And so I imagined this guy in the wheelchair, this little white silhouette, standing up, walking up, and the process that it would take. And that became a visualization on my shirt, which is the steps that it would take for that man there to walk up.
Step.
Yeah, up into the actual like still sort of white silhouette guy walking here. And it was like, in my mind, it looked kind of like the evolution of man.
Yeah.
So I had this idea, like in my mind, it's like a rehabilitative evolution. And I thought, it's more than just like my effort. It's more than just me, it's like, it's what's gonna happen. No matter
Yeah.
what, whether I personally walking in or not, this will be the evolution of rehabilitation for man. You know, anybody that experiences injury like this, one day will be able to do it. So to break it, or to put it into like a very simple term, it was representation of hope. So hope and also seeing something and making what you want out of it. You know, not letting something affect you, rather affect it and let it form the way you want it to form, you know? More control and hope of the future. And so what I did was I put them on some t-shirts, I put them on some hoodies, and I sold them to raise money for myself for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And I was able to get myself, you know, like a year's worth of rehabilitation through doing this. So recently, now that I've been established through poker and everything, I decided to use my platform that I have on Instagram, sell these again, and donate all the profits that I got to charities that I let my followers choose. So I let them nominate whoever they want. Then I use like either like a Google random number generator, or you know, some app or website to do the random comment picker, and I let my followers sort of choose the money that it goes to. So that's something that I've done with my platform, and that's kind of what I want to keep doing with my platform, is positive things I believe in, which one of them now is veganism. So I like to use the platform that I've grown, that I have now, to push that as well, because I fully believe in it. And it's, you know, there's not much that in the world that's made me feel so good about something.
What made you get involved? What made you want to go vegan?
So most of the people I see like on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, you know, they start from a center of compassion for animals, right?
Yeah.
I was like the complete opposite side.
Okay.
I, through my injury and through playing poker, countless hours on the computer and countless hours in casinos, watched my health like deteriorate. And I was actually starting to go downhill from the point where I'd been with the original rehabilitation that I had done. And I needed to do something about that. So there were different things I would do. And one of those things that I started to stop eating red meat and pork was something that I did for health reasons. And I started feeling really good about it. I started feeling really good, healthy, clean, started working out all the time. During this time, I started dating a fitness model. She was really into fitness. So together, she helped me along this path as well. I started doing like morning smoothies, just juicing, being very green, I guess, so to speak. But I was still eating, you know, some meat. And then my ex-girlfriend, she has a social media following as well. Her followers were telling her to watch these documentaries, you know, so we started doing the whole slew of documentary thing, you know, like Earthlings and What the Health, Cowspiracy, Forks Over Knives, all these, like we watched probably 10 different things, you know. The final one was What the Health, though. That was the one that really hit us in the head, because we were more health-based. And you know how they break it down in that movie, and like all the conspiracy stuff that's kind of happening behind it all is like,
makes you think.
It really makes you think, and you start to like distrust everything that you've known in life. And so I was really interested in trying something completely new and not letting those powers that be have that sort of grasp over me. And if it would help my health, that'd be great. So we decided to do it together, and almost immediately I felt better. I felt more regular. Like I have a weird system now because of my injury, and I have to be on a very specific pattern, and this was really helping me actually.
Okay.
So health-wise, I started feeling great, and I actually felt more awake. One of my favorite things about it was that before I went vegan, I would have like a meal, and like I would get bogged down. I would have this lag. They call it the food coma. And when I went vegan, I didn't have that anymore. Like literally almost every meal, I have as much or more energy afterwards. And it's like, it was amazing. It was amazing to experience that. So I fully bit on it. My girlfriend at the time, she didn't do it. She didn't love it as much as I did, but I fully bit, and I was like, I think this is for me. And then, you know, inherently, all the other positives that come with it started to affect me. Like, I care about the world, and then like, you know, learning about this and learning that it's like the best way to to positively affect the environment and you know, help stop climate change or control or better it, you know. And learning about all this that I was doing, and then it was just my diet, and I was doing all these great things with it. It made me feel really good, and I was like, this is really something cool to be a part of. The third and final thing was doing it for the animals. That was actually like the last part for me. But I feel as strong about that now as I did about all of it.
Yeah.
So it's all come together.
The good thing is, you know, no matter what reason you originally do it for, you still do all of them, even if you don't realize it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just, it's like, it's actually a no-brainer. But it takes us so long to get there sometimes. Yeah. Cool, man. So I'm just going to drain this pasta. This pasta is brown rice and quinoa pasta. So nice and healthy. It's going to, it's got a lot of protein in it because of the quinoa. So that's good, really, really good healthy food. Because I was just talking to you off camera about the fact that you're a really good talker, like, and I think you're super articulate and things like that, and you're a guy with a lot of charisma. Would that make you want to be someone who's like kind of a spokesperson for like people who've had accidents, people in wheelchairs, things like that? Because the way you talked about when you said you pulled up to that space and the way that symbol made you feel, like, that's an insight that a lot of people don't get on stuff, yeah? Like, and a lot of people get told, whether they've got disabilities or not, they get told they can't do stuff. Is that something you want to be in the, you know, in the limelight for? Not in the limelight, but a spokesperson is more of a way to say it, I think.
It's a great question. Thanks also for the compliment. Appreciate that. It's something that I've thought of a lot about, and I've never been the type to sort of be like heady, like where I'm like, I think a lot of myself and that I should be something like that. But I guess throughout the years,
that makes you a better person for it. Do you see what I mean?
Throughout the years, I do keep getting told by people that I should be an advocate, and I've wanted to, and I've tried. I started using my social media to put some videos out there on how to like work out and stuff that I was doing with my ex-girlfriend, and that really caught on, and people seemed to like watching me, and they seemed to feel, you know, comfortable with how I displayed myself and all that. And I mean, as I've progressed in my own injury and in this world, I feel like it is somewhat of a calling, and I think that I should actually pay back and do that, because I've been so fortunate in my life, and to be somebody that experienced this tragedy and now to be at the place that I'm at, I would love more than anything to be able to give back. I'm just struggling on the avenues to get there.
Okay.
And you know, I have a couple friends that I could probably go to seek some advice. Yeah. But then once again, I always feel weird. You know, I have friends that do this already. They're public speakers. They're motivational speakers. That's what they do. I always feel weird going into somebody's space.
We talked about that earlier though, and if people like that have got a problem with it, then personally, I mean, people can have their own thought on it, but I think they're wrong. That's famine mentality, right? And just like the world has so many people in it, yeah? So like, what is it? 3 million, 100 million in America? Some more?
I think 300 million.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so just because like you recommend someone and someone goes over and follows them on social media or looks at their stuff or whatever, they're not going to unfollow you. Like, it's this family mentality. That's why, like we spoke earlier about, like really liking collaborating and things like that. So I think if you reach out to the right people and they're switched on like that, then I think they'd want you to, because if they really believe in the cause that they're talking about, they want as many people to do it as possible. So I think you should do it. I think you should reach out to people, because, like I say, I find you're a really inspirational person. And you said a minute ago, you've been really lucky. I don't think you have been lucky at all. I think you're a fucking winner. I never swear on these videos either. So that's kind of intense. But yeah, I think you're a winner. I think you were like, told you were going to go into assisted living, and you said, well, hell no, what can I do to not? And you went out and did something. That's like, not everyone would do that. Some people would go, oh, I guess I didn't win this one, and they'd stop. Like, you've gone out there and done stuff for yourself. Like, I think people talk about luck too much, and yeah, lucky as an hour to see you, man. I think you've gone out and done things for yourself, and I think that's awesome. So.
Thank you, man. You're inspiring me. You might need to be a motivational speaker yourself.
I feel like, you know, with motivational speakers, I feel like you need to have done stuff first. I'm not sure I've done enough yet to be a motivational speaker. There's too many motivational speakers that are only inspirational for the motivation speaking that they've done. And it's like, sorry, what have you done, bro? But yeah, no, but thank you very much. Thanks for that compliment. So I'm literally serving this up now. I'm getting just as hungry as you were at the start.
It looks delicious.
And yeah, so like I said about this dish, it's like a kind of Italian Mexican fusion style dish. So two cultures with food that are both perfect in their own way, and bringing them together. I've made you like a mushroom tagliatelle style dish, but I've added a lot of spice, and there's also some lime, and we call it coriander. You call it like cilantro over here?
Cilantro?
Yeah, cilantro. So here it is, man. Here you go, brother.
Dude, thank you so much. This looks delicious.
I'm interested to see how you get on with this one.
So you're saying it's gonna be a little spicy?
Bit spicy.
Good, I love
bit
spice.
Spicy. You've got like a soy cream in there, and then the mushrooms. Yeah. So spicy,
The spice
and
kicks
then
on at the end a little bit.
Yeah, offset by that lime a little bit, and the soy cream smooths it out a little bit. But yeah, pretty spicy dish.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bomb.
Good, man.
It's unique too. I haven't had anything to really compare it to since I've been vegan. So
I think dishes like this traditionally would be more like a seafood style dish where people would add like spice into it and have like a pasta, they'd do like a fettuccine or like a linguine, and they'd normally put like clams and stuff with it. I like to put them. Yeah, so like that's why it's different, very different for a vegan dish, because it's just different type of food. I really, really appreciate you inviting me around today, man. Thank you very much. We've had a lot of fun, and it's been awesome getting to know you. So,
dude,
thank you very much.
I feel the same way.
Cheers, man. Where can people follow you?
So on Instagram, I'm Garrett J Greer, Garrett.
I'll put that below.
J Greer. I have a YouTube that I've never done anything with, but that's just my full name, Garrett Jason Greer.
Okay.
There's a chance that I start. We'll see. And then just my full name on Facebook. So
yeah.
Well,
maybe I'll send you this video when I've edited it. Maybe it can be the first one on your YouTube. We'll see. It might be a way to start, because I want you to do it, man. I want you to reach more people. Because like I say, man, I've been inspired today. It's been a good conversation. So thank you very much for watching. Be nice to each other, and goodbye.